KSW.
Please welcome to the show, David Koechner.
Good morning. All right.
David, good to have you. This has been a long time coming. I know we've said, listen, anytime we can get David on the show, we'd love to, because the characters that you've created on television and in the movies have been really beloved, at least by me and by a lot of people I know. So it's great to have you in.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm blessed. I'm fortunate. And I've gotten to play some really iconic, memorable a-holes on the screen and television that stick in people's mind.
Well, I remember we were talking about this before we went on the air. I got an opportunity to go to Los Angeles for the Anchorman screening, and we saw the film before, and then they do a thing called a press junket where you get to go and interview everybody. I remember being so nervous to talk to everybody, and then after seeing the film, I was like, I cannot wait to talk to David, because the Cham Kine character just blew whammy, you know.
Wow,
I mean, it was just so funny, and you, and I remember telling everybody that would listen to me, you, Will, all the guys couldn't have been nicer to everybody going through it. It was such a fun experience because it seemed like you guys really believed in that film as well. And when I came back, I went to every screening that they had before the movie even. I saw the movie 4 times before it ever even made it into the theaters. Like, it was.
Did you ever pay for it? That's all I want to know.
No, of course not. I stole the DVD.
Oh yeah.
And we were mentioning, and you mentioned how at that time that wasn't even going to be considered to be like the top comedy to come out around that time, which is crazy to think of now.
I know. Now everyone owns it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, it's always Anchorman, Anchorman, Anchorman. I love it, and I'm so fortunate to have been part of it. And we were talking too. It's crazy that they're not going to greenlight the second one. I don't get it. I don't understand.
So who's in the way of that, of greenlighting the second one? Because I wasn't here for part of that conversation, which will bring some of it back up on the air. That, to me, seems like a Hollywood no-brainer. Who is standing in the way of this?
I wish I had a name for you. I wish I did, so we could call that person. I don't know. I don't understand what's standing, because I think that movie would make $50 million in the opening weekend.
Absolutely.
You know, the problem is, it's not to get too technical and bore your listeners, but I think it comes down to DVD, because the DVD market has disappeared, basically. And that movie made its stones on DVD, and its opening was, it made $84 million domestically. They're looking at that number and going, that's probably what we're going to project it making again, and we won't get that ancillary money from DVD. So that's what I guess they're hesitant. I guess if it was my money and we're talking about spending $50 million, you have to really think it through differently, because we're sitting there going, well, why won't you spend $50 million? Just go ahead and spend $50 million. Let me make a movie. And they're going, well, we'd like to really, really think this through.
Yeah.
And so, but here's the thing. We know now that there is a taste for that picture, and it would absolutely, definitely work.
And I point to Family Guy, because that's on TV because of the DVD sales. And you know what? It's been on TV for a long time now.
Yes, and continues to do well. And how many spinoffs from that series, right? We've got American Dad, and we've got the Cleveland Show. Yeah.
And I still think there's still a market for the world of DVDs. It's still there's still certain films that you want to own.
And people would own that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Anchorman 2.
Yeah.
Deuce, I don't get it. And I still hold out hope. We were supposed to be shooting it right now.
Oh,
it was supposed to go in production this spring.
Weird.
Yeah, I know. So let's hope that it's going to happen, and people go on message boards or blogs or whatever and say, let's do it.
Are they waiting? Here's what I'm wondering, because you see so many actors nowadays, David, who have decided, you know what, I will take scale. Because I want to be part of something great. I mean, Children's Hospital, I love that little web series. It's now become a TV show.
Right.
And, and even, I was telling you about the movie Super.
Yeah.
Rainn Wilson, Ellen Page, and Liv Tyler. They all did it for scale because they love the project.
Right.
Do you think Hollywood money guys are getting wise? Maybe these guys will go cheaper if we make them hold out because they'll love the art of it?
Yeah, it's always business. It's always business first. I don't think they're waiting for that number, but I know that everyone had dropped their quote.
So people were like,
they had come in line.
So what you said is, you know what? As big of a star as I am.
Yeah, me. I was the lone holdout.
He was the holdout. Dave.
No,
was the
but
holdout.
I know that everyone had cleared their schedule, and everyone had reduced their price for that particular thing because they loved it, and we had such a joyful time making that picture. Here's what's nice about that movie. We knew when we were making it that something special was happening, and we wouldn't talk about it. It's kind of like going to a no-hitter, and you're like, you didn't just say no-hitter, did you?
Yeah,
you're not supposed to bring it up?
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't say perfect game, did you? No, you wouldn't have said anything. And it was kind of like that about halfway through. Like, I don't know, this is pretty good. This is special. But it was pretty cool.
And here's what gets me. And again, maybe this could be part of the pitch. We're talking to David Koechner. You know him as Champ Kind from Anchorman. You know him as Todd Packer from The Office, which is another great character. And also loved you in Paul. You know, you and your rural son in that movie were really classic on that one.
Don't forget he was in Best Picture 08. Sex Drive.
Oh, of course.
He's obsessed with Sex Drive.
The greatest movie ever. How could you do that to that GTO?
That's right.
I almost didn't want to shake your hand when you walked in here. I love that.
He has some of the actual wardrobe. He bought it off of eBay from Sex Drive. Yes.
The only movie I have memorabilia from is
That's
Sex
funny.
Drive.
You know,
Rumspringa.
Oh, that's awesome. I do play some horrible characters in the pictures. And one time, we have 5 children now, but we had 4 at the time. We're going through an airport. And we're sitting down at the terminal, and I bought a bunch of fast food because I'm a good father, and we're waiting to trying to find a place to sit down with like 3 chairs, and then some guy got up and gave us his seat, and he goes, "You don't seem like you're really that guy from The Office, so I'm going to give you my chair." But some people think, well, he's like that.
Yeah,
he's got to be kind of like that.
In order for him to do that role, he's got to have it in him.
Right, but. No, that's not so.
I got to also say, but I got to do my job. David's going to be at the Parlor Live. David Koechner at the Parlor Live tonight, tomorrow, showtime 7:30 and 10 o'clock. Go to parlorlive.com. You want tickets information? Check this out because you've got an improv background, which I think that is awesome when anybody gets into any entertainment because improv to me a great art. I love the Curb Your Enthusiasm because that's improv based, and a lot of shows now are doing that. They're going, let's shoot the script and then let's see what you guys can come up with.
Right. Some will do that. It's rare, but some will trust that. Television is different because if the show's not geared that way, like Curb is, you're looking at 21 and a half minutes. So every line you add, some other line has to come out. So you've got to be. It's a delicate thing when you begin to improvise, especially if you're just a guest on the show, because you're taking away screen time from someone else. But some shows do allow, and some directors do allow it. What will happen more likely is that you're able to substitute a line. Like you had one line, and you might come up with a different idea for it. You can talk to the director, writer, and all that stuff on set. But otherwise, it's pretty locked down. They're not too loosey-goosey. Although there are some shows, I think, what was it last year that the catering show that was on Stars?
Oh, gosh.
Escapes me now.
I don't know the name either, but I know you're talking about.
Yeah, a lot of great people on there. I think that was improvised. So some shows are geared toward it for sure.
Yeah, and that it's Party Down, is that the
Party
name of the
Down?
show?
Yes, nice, well done.
Thank you, Rev. Got to give the credit to Rev in there. He made
the internet.
Well done. Thank goodness for the internet.
We're getting blown up on the text at 77999. A lot of people are bringing up for David. They say a few people just saying the name of the movie, but one guy says, "Please have him talk about the movie." And I remember this movie, Out Cold. He was hilarious in it.
Nice.
The scene where he gets his penis stuck in the hot tub jet is just classic.
That's Galifianakis got his penis stuck in the hot tub jet. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But thank you for thinking it was me. Thank you for having that visual of replacing me.
As long as you're being remembered, right, David?
That's right.
Well, and
It's a strange part to remember.
Yes. Yeah.
And I want to talk to you, and I think this is a brilliant idea. If you haven't caught these, just do a search, Always Open and Dennys. You're doing these great shorts with, basically you're just in a Dennys booth having some lunch or dinner with a celebrity, and you've had Will Arnett, Sarah Silverman, Jason Bateman.
Right. We've got Kristen Bell coming up, Will Forte, Amy Poehler. Yeah.
And of course, these are. I mean, I love it because these are again people who I think it feels so improv to me.
Oh, it is.
And I love that because really, it's really well done. And I wonder how the heck did this come to be?
Well, Jason Bateman and Will Arnett own a company that does branded entertainment, and that's kind of where it's all going.
Yeah. Okay.
Because in 3 years, all of your television is going to be broadband. It's not going to be broadcast the way it normally is now. So your computer, what you're watching on your computer, you're going to be watching on your television set. That's the way it's all going to go. So things are kind of changing. And they've been wondering for a long time, how are they going to be able to get, because look, we have to survive with commercials, right? We have to pay the bills. And there's been this fight about trying to integrate brands into storylines and things like that. And then when television started, we weren't allowed, but we remember, you had Texaco Family Theater, or you had whatever, they used to have cigarettes that would sponsor a show. So that would be the sponsor of the show, and you knew that, so you didn't have to stick it into the script. You just understood that brand represented that thing, right?
Right, yeah, but you're absolutely right.
So that's what this kind of is. It's the new way of branding entertainment. So it's at a Dennys, but we don't talk about Dennys. It just happens to be there, and you kind of understand that, and you're fine with it. You don't feel like you're being advertised to necessarily.
But it's working, because BJ and I were both talking about how we both were watching it, and both of us were thinking, I'd like to go get some food at Dennys.
There you go.
It's a great idea, because you've got people you like, you're having good conversations, and it's awesome. If you haven't seen this Always Open, I congratulate Dennys. I think it's a brilliant idea. And like Steve said, it was like, you know what? Who hasn't had a moment like that at Dennys, where usually it's after a night of partying, but you're over there like 3 in the morning getting some chow, and you're having those kind of conversations with your friends.
And that's the thing, because when we do those interviews, we do it for a half an hour, and then they cut them down to 3 minutes. But it's a different thing that happens when you're having a conversation and an interview and you're both eating. It's really odd. It takes on a different timbre, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we were sitting here having this conversation and eating, your mind is
Sorry.
See, that's how
Someone hasn't had breakfast.
I haven't.
That's the only way.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, David, but that's the only way people should talk.
Not to be creepy, but I would love to be able to tell my friends, I just had breakfast with David Koechner. We totally just BS'd and ate some eggs. That would be awesome.
There would be
Let's
peace.
do it. Let's have breakfast tomorrow, not too early.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tomorrow's Saturday, right?
11.
I have 2 shows tonight at Parlor Live. How about that for branded entertainment?
Yeah.
You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to go to the Parlor Live tonight, do 2 shows for the people of Seattle and Bellevue, and then have breakfast with them in the morning. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
We shouldn't say that.
I'm drooling.
There's a Dennys not too far from the Parlor Live.
Some Dennys and fill it up with people.
Yeah.
Well, you don't think Dennys will green light more of those Always Open? I'll tell you, they sure as heck will. That'll happen faster than Anchorman 2.
BJ Shea Morning Experience on 99.9 KISW.